My topic specifically is in episode 8, will Luke Skywalker die? What do you think? I want to hear your opinion first.
Well, being that there are some rumors of some of the plot that has supposedly already been leaked. In that I've heard there is at least one scene where I believe Kylo Ren is supposed to be dropping off and stopping by the place that Luke is training Rey, and I think it is the Jedi Temple that you see, or at least the island at the end of Force Awakens. And I think there is a confrontation that's going to happen there if that scene, is been accurately leaked. With that being said, I think Luke is so powerful and such a beloved character. I think that they're probably going to keep him around a little bit longer. I think that they will probably keep him through episode 8, maybe kill him off in episode 9. But Luke has had a long time to become one of the most powerful Jedi ever. I'm excited to see him go toe to toe with like Kylo Ren or maybe Benicio del Toro's villain character, or Snoke himself. So I personally, my hope, and I'm a little biased because I love Luke. I don't want to see him killed off this quickly, but I also don't think they will, because I think that there is a lot more use for him in the studio down the road. I think people want to see more of Luke. In the same way they probably wouldn't have mind if Han Solo had stayed on for another film. I think what's more likely to happen is I think they would be more likely to kill off Princess Leia. And I hate to say it this way, but I actually wouldn't mind that so much. And that's not because I didn't like Princess Leia. I love Carrie Fisher, and I loved her in the original films, but I don't know, I understand she's aged and all that, but she just hasn't seemed to quite recapture the charisma she had on screen. And they haven't really developed her character in this new world and this new continuation of the series as much. So I'm really more hoping that they will keep Luke alive, and because after that, I mean, the only original characters you still have left to lean on are maybe Lando if he makes an appearance, and Princess Leia, and maybe a handful of others like Chewie, side characters and stuff. So that's my thought.
I'm gonna have to go a completely different direction. I think, not story-wise completely, but tone-wise, this is going to be a mirror image of the tone of Empire Strikes Back, which is why I'm so excited about it. I think it's definitely going to be the darkest film in the trilogy. I think you're going to end on a down note. I think this movie is going to end with Luke being killed, and I think it's going to end with Chewie or someone else in the Resistance, Poe, or someone pulling Rey into a ship instead of trying to save Luke from his death or from being killed. And I think actually Leia will die very early in the movie, which will enrage and kind of promote the fight between Kylo Ren or Snoke and Luke Skywalker, almost like he'll have more motivation if he already has a ton of motivation, but even more motivation. But I could see her being too far away or preoccupied, or even like on a completely different mission, but just because of the Force feeling Luke die, and like there being a somber scene at the end where basically she's just like, the most effective scenes are sometimes when they just cut all audio and just show the person in agony.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the Harry Potter films?
Yeah.
So think, Order of the Phoenix, when Sirius Black died and all the audio cut and you just saw Harry like screaming, but no audio. There was no vocals coming. I could see something like that where she's being pulled with just maybe some instrumental in the background. And I think the movie cuts with Luke being gone and nothing but the original cast. I mean, the new cast being the I think that's the whole point of this universe. They wanted to bring Star Wars back and make it familiar by including these older characters, but I think their goal, Disney's singular goal in this, is promoting and making the third movie and future movies about this new generation and not about the old cast anymore.
Right.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, I really don't know. I'm hoping that they're not going to try and completely mirror Empire Strikes Back, because I don't want the films to necessarily follow the same pattern. I do want it to get darker, for sure. I mean, I love to see that. And even if you think about it, though, Empire Strikes Back, it was a dark film, but it ended on a high potential note. You know, there was that scene where they're standing on the bridge of the ship and looking out into the stars, and you kind of get this feeling like, yeah, Luke, you know, you lost your arm, and there was this big defeat on Hoth, but there's hope in the future. You'll become a better Jedi and all this. So it was a dark film, but there was left this sense of hope. And on a side note, but still related, I want them to make sure they make these films as standalone films as much as they are part of the same story. Like, I know they did that scene at the end of Force Awakens with Luke as kind of to set up the next film and fan service and all that, and that's fine. But it really felt like, you know, just
the movie should have. What you're saying is the movie should have ended after the bigger Death Star. What it was?
Well,
blew
I'm
up.
just saying they put the scene in that was really just to set up the next sequel. That's what I mean. It didn't feel as complete.
I actually think it was more because it's been so long since the Star Wars film comes out, and every single person, young and old, who was going to see that movie, not just wanted to, but would have been frustrated had they not seen Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I'm not against that. I just wish like they had done something more than just a dramatic, like, you know, I felt like they could have done more to really cap off that final. But that's all I'm saying. I'm just hoping they make sure they keep these as standalone films, and not like you're feeling, not feeling like you're watching, you know, The Hunger Games Part 1 Mockingjay and Part 2 Mockingjay.
Well, Mockingjay Part 2 is they should be ashamed with Mockingjay Part 2, but that's completely was such a, you know, that's what I'm afraid of with these movies, and I trust Disney so much. I don't think it's going to happen, but similar to what the Hunger Games did, where I was bought in Hunger Games 1, Hunger Games 2, Part 1 of Hunger Games 3, and then it just was like, oh, come on, it's too much. You guys are trying too hard here. But what I'm most concerned about is I really want it to be not just a standalone film, because that's what the originals were. They were 3 standalone films that just so happened to be in the same universe. Right. But I want them to be, and I think they will be more original than Episode 7.
Yes.
I think Episode 7 was Disney putting their toe in the water and saying, okay, let's make sure that it still works, and that let's get everyone on board, and let's just have a nostalgia fest. Everyone's going to get in a big circle. We're going to hug and yell, we love Star Wars, and here's all your characters again.
Yeah.
I think Episode 8 is where they say, okay, we have you all now. We have your attention. You guys love Star Wars now. Let's tell you a story that you haven't seen before. And I think we're going to get that. I don't know. Do you kind of feel the same?
Yeah. I mean, they clearly went way overboard with rehashing so many things out of the original. I mean, everything that's new is great, and everything that they brought back as kind of a throwback to the originals is also great. But, you know, I have to admit, some of the criticism that I've heard from other directors, from some audiences, about the lack of originality that plagues that film, I think it's justified. I mean, it just, I don't think they had to do so much as they did. In fact, I feel like they might have done themselves better by making the film a little longer and adding in some more of their own original ideas. But again, it's a minor complaint because what they did with it was still awesome, and the film was still awesome in every way. But it was pretty obvious how much of a retread it was in so many ways. So I'm hoping they are gonna, like you said, now that people have bought into Star Wars as a franchise again, that they're going to be able to really have some creative control.
I agree, and I think there's one thing we can both agree on is that, man, I really want to go watch Star Wars now. I want to go. I want to put on Episode 7 and just let it play in the background, and I do that too much. I'm sure for any healthy habit is put on Star Wars and just let it play while I'm doing stuff around the house. But on that note, great episode, great topics. Again, John, you are a scholar and a gentleman.
As are you, sir.
And we will see everyone next time. Until then, thanks for coming to watch.
See you guys. Take care.